Hello everybody and welcome to today's Chrissy B show, and we are the UK's only programme that's dedicated to your mental health and well-being. Now, as we all know, education and mentoring are so important to help us advance in life and be the best that we can be. However, a great deal of stress can arise too, which unfortunately can end up spoiling all our progress. So we'll be tackling this issue from different angles on today's show to help you make the most of your efforts to rise to the top and make a difference. My first guest is our resident family coach, Sharon Lawton, giving some tips on how parents can help their children through exam stress. She'll be revealing some no-nos and if parents should actually help with things like revision. Then we have founder of From the Seed and Tisserand Aromatherapy expert, Jo Kellet. She's going to be revealing what essential oils can help students combat exam stress and make them feel more awake. We also have some exclusive coverage from the National Mentoring Awards, where over 350 mentors and mentoring organisations covering all sectors of business, education, sport and society were recognised for their outstanding mentoring achievements in a red carpet awards ceremony in London. The awards were hosted by three-time BAFTA winner and the UK's top impressionist Rory Bremner and founder of the National Mentoring Awards, Chelsey Baker, who is also our business expert on the show. After that, we have our resident psychologist, Dr. Audrey Tang, talking about dealing with stress in business and also as an adult going back to education. We'll be going to Hannah's Kitchen for a healthy, yummy recipe, and Dr. Rob Hicks will be giving some medical advice on how to deal with stress. Then I'll be sharing my final thought of the day, and we also have our beauty expert, Sandy Sommer, sharing some spring makeup tips. So let's go straight to family coach, Sharon Lawton. Welcome back to the show, Sharon.
Hi, Chris.
So time to talk about exam stress. Now, how can parents help their kids that are going through this difficult time, challenging time?
It is difficult and challenging because I think not only is it very stressful for the young people that are taking the exams, and they're right in the thick of it, aren't they? Let's face it.
Yeah.
And they're getting, sort of stress from the teachers and everybody else. But as well, it's very stressful for parents as well. So it all seems to be a really big melting pot. Yeah. So there are some really practical things that parents can do, and I think it's the practical things that are going to be the most helpful. Mm-hmm. So food helps us fuel the brain. You have your nutritionists on here and they're talking about that all of the time. So 3 healthy, balanced meals, really important, because I don't know about you, but often if I'm stressed, the first thing I'll reach for is something quick, something sweet, something unhealthy. And then we get those big sugar rushes and then dips. So important that, as parents, we just get some nice healthy snacks in so they can reach for something that's healthy and make sure they're eating balanced meals and not skipping the breakfast first thing in the morning, really important. So that's one practical thing. The next practical thing is just to sit down with them and just to make sure that they've got a good study timetable. Okay. Something that's balanced. Alarm bell should ring if your child is saying, I'm just going to go and do half an hour maths. Well, what about, what part of the maths? It should now be structured down into topic sections, So sit down with them, make sure they've got sort of a study timetable so that and they know what they need to be doing at a particular day at a particular time. They really need to be maximising their time really right now. So that's 2 things. A couple of other things, making sure they've got a good workspace, a clear, quiet space in which to study, distraction-free, ideally a desk or a table, somewhere where they have a nice, big, clear working space so they feel organised and, tidy space, tidy mind, that type of thing. And making sure that the distractions of the phone and things aren't around. So some practical things, to start off with, really.
Any no-nos, would you say?
Oh, absolute no-nos would be us nagging.
Okay.
I think it's really easy because we want our children to do well. We sort of nag them to say, are you doing your revision? How much revision have you done? And actually that can stress them out even more. So let's support rather than nag. Let's encourage rather than criticise. So sit down and maybe work some goals out with them. So what I've done with both of my boys is ask them the grades that they would like to or feel that they are able to achieve themselves. So it's a self-motivated goal.
Good,
And then what I do, and I advise parents that I coach to do, is just to say, bearing in mind that mark that you wanted to get, are you doing enough revision, do you feel, to get the result that you want? And that way the onus is on sort of them a little bit more.
That's very smart, that is. It's so saying the same thing but in a much nicer way.
Well, language is really powerful, isn't it? We can say the same thing but in a very different way. So, we don't need to stress them out. Certainly no energy drinks, like caffeine infused drinks. And no revision in front of the television. An absolute no-no. Oh, and my final one would be, and I'm sure parents will roll their eyes and children will groan, but bedtime needs to be bedtime. So no phones in the bedroom during that study, revision time and exam time. So they really need good night's sleep.
Okay. And how involved should parents be with the actual revision itself, or should they be involved in that at all, with actually helping with?
It's interesting, isn't it? Because I'm sure a lot of teachers will always know if a parent has done a child's homework for them. And we can't revise for them, but we can help them to study. Okay. So, if you help them by getting organised and making sure they've got their little cue cards and that type of thing, well, then you can test them and ask them questions from their cue cards. Maybe discuss and have discussions around a particular topic. So if they're doing geography, you might sort of listen to current affairs and then talk about what's going on in the world. And that broadens their knowledge of the topic. And just sort of pay an interest really in what they're doing. So discussing what they're doing, asking them to talk to you about a particular topic. Because when we talk to somebody, that reinforces the learning that we're doing ourselves. So
Wonderful tips as you, Sharon. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
And we'll see you again for
I
another
look forward to
topic
it, Chris.
Look forward to it. Okay, everybody, so now it's time to go to founder of From the Seed and Tisserand Aromatherapy expert, Jo Kellet. She's going to be revealing what essential oils can help students combat exam stress. Welcome back to the show, Jo.
Thank you for having me.
So today we're talking all about exam stress.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what your views are on that? Been through it yourself at some point?
A long time ago,
Me too.
But I have got teenagers and my son's doing his GCSEs at the moment.
You're going through it again then?
Yeah, and it's, well, everyone knows it is a stressful time, but it's really important to get a good balance, isn't it? So, sleep well, eat, get some exercise. But the oils that I've chosen today are more to enhance studying, to help you focus and to help you hopefully sort of boost your memory power.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yep.
Okay.
Let's take it away, Jo.
So I've got 3 oils today and they would be really useful to use in a vaporizer. So put into a burner or electric vaporizer and have them while you're studying. Because the idea with these oils is that they are stimulating. So the first one, you're going to recognise this. Most people have a really good association with this family of oils. So let me give you it and then see if you can guess what it is.
Definitely citrusy, limey,
citrus.
lemony.
It's lemon.
That's nice.
And most people, how does it make you feel when you smell it?
Awake. It does.
Yeah.
This is good for a shower in the morning, isn't it?
It is. It's a very wakeful oil, very awakening oil. It's all the citrus oils are very bright and positive and uplifting. And for most people, they have a really good association with them. They feel sort of sunshine and brightness. True, so it's a very positive oil. So it's going to make you sort of put you in a good mindset. Yeah. So that would, I'll talk the drops in a moment. Let's look at the oils first and then I'll say how many drops you'd put in to make a blend. Okay. So this is not a good relaxing blend, a calming blend. This is
not
more
before you go to bed.
Not before going to bed. So for that you need something a lot more calming. So the second oil, this is, well again, let me get you to smell it before I tell you what it is, if it comes out of the bottle. Okay, there we go. Okay.
This one is very familiar smell.
Most people find it quite familiar.
For cooking.
Yes, it's a herb.
Yeah, it smells very herby.
It's rosemary.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, So rosemary
kind of clears my sinuses as well.
Definitely, yeah. It's got a decongestant property, but it's got a lot of associations with mental clarity. Yeah. It's mentioned a lot in literature. Ophelia talks about it in her famous flower soliloquy when she gives flowers, and she talks about it for memory and remembrance. And there's quite a lot of study being done with rosemary in regards to it enhancing our memory and helping us remember things. Yeah. So there's quite a lot of work being done with rosemary in dementia, for example. But in this case, I've chosen it because, again, it's quite clearing and definitely brightening, and it's going to, make you feel quite awake.
Yeah.
And sort of stimulated.
I was actually feeling a bit sleepy before.
Okay, well, now you're awake. So that's rosemary. Yeah. And then the last oil, this has also got a food association. See what you think of this one, and then I will tell you what it is. Again, it's going to be a little bit stubborn coming out the bottle.
It's a thicker oil than obviously.
Here it comes.
Okay.
There we go.
Let's try this one.
This is one of my favourites. I love this oil. You're not going to like it.
It's cooking again.
Yes, it's a spice. Shall I tell you what it is?
Yes.
It's cardamom.
Something.
Yeah.
I don't like it when I bite into it in curries.
No.
When they leave it in by mistake. But
now,
it smells lovely.
Traditionally, its use was actually the cardamom pods were chewed, and they were chewed by Roman soldiers when they were on their really long marches. Because the idea was it was sort of, again, it was very stimulating. Yeah. It was good for keeping you going.
It does wake you up if you bite into it by mistake. Yeah.
So again, like rosemary, it's got a lot of associations with the head. It's very awakening and alert. When I smell cardamom, it kind of makes my eyes bright and sort of shiny. So these three together, they're going to be really good for studying. Yeah. But it's really important not to just be, studying all the time. You've got to have time to relax. You've got to be eating well, sleeping, keeping hydrated, of course, and getting the balance. Yeah. So these three oils together. So in a vaporizer, I would put more of the lemon because it evaporates quite quickly. So it's going to disappear quite quickly in the blend. So you need 5 drops of lemon, 1 drop of rosemary and 2 drops of cardamom. Oh, wow, okay. So it's 8 drops in total, and that's enough, and that's going to give you a good 3 or 4 hours study time.
That's really good.
And what's really good, what's really good about using the oils for studying is that you're going to, create an atmosphere that is pleasing and uplifting, so that you're not, it's not just books and studying. You've got something there that's going to sort of, carry you through and make you feel better.
This is nice also if you haven't had a very good night's sleep. If you haven't been using your lavender oils and your sleep blends that you spoke about last time, and you haven't had a bit of a rough night, or maybe you've got a presentation at work or something.
Exactly. So not just for studying. So it's going to be good for presentations, good for public speaking, good for exam studying, good for anything an interview, for example, a job interview.
Say if you wanted to take some with you, say you've got an interview or an exam or something, how would you use it then?
Well, I choose one. So choose your favourite. For me, that would be cardamom. Yeah. And I would literally just take a couple of drops, 1 or 2 drops, and just place them onto my top or my shirt. Okay. Or you could put them onto a tissue and inhale before going in. So that's going to sort of, lift you up and brighten you and make you all fresh and bubbly. Wonderful. And the person to choose.
It's lovely. Yes, definitely. Jo, thank you so much.
Not at all.
And would you like to tell the viewers what you're going to be speaking about next time you're in, so they can look forward to it? Yes,
definitely. Yes, very excited next time. We're going to be talking about the menopause and using essential oils to support women during their menopause.
Wonderful.
It's a really important thing to talk about and champion.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Jo. We'll see you again next time.
See you next time. Thank you.
So everyone, after the break, we have some exclusive coverage from the National Mentoring Awards, where over 350 mentors and mentoring organisations covering all sectors of business, education, sport and society were recognised for their outstanding mentoring achievements in a red carpet awards ceremony in London. The awards were hosted by 3-time BAFTA winner and the UK's top impressionist Rory Bremner, and founder of the National Mentoring Awards Chelsey Baker, who is also our business expert on the show. After that, we have on our resident psychologist, Dr. Audrey Tang, talking about dealing with stress in business and also as an adult going back to education. know, I did put the dance together because the dance actually shows the fight against depression. So as you know, you've got some punching moves in there, you've got that you know, throwing out anything that's negative. So when you're actually doing the dance, just remember that the reason behind it is like you saying, I don't accept to be put down by any kind of problem, and I'm going to fight back.
We think it's a really, really important thing for them to be aware of being mentally and emotionally well as succeeding with their academic success. So when we heard about this dance, we just thought it was amazing.
We like to encourage students to open up if they are going through any problem, and let them know that it's okay to talk, that it's okay if you're going through a problem, it's nothing to be ashamed of.
Waving the flags, I think it's like saying to your worries, go away and don't come back.
I found the dance, I thought everybody enjoyed it because it could represent our big and small feelings.
Stop, stop, stop! Stop, 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 step back and point and wave! Step and crush! Step and crush! Step and crush!
Do you think this challenge is so important?
I think it's very important because it's a very interactive way for young people to take part and know the stigma around mental health and actually make a change.
It was really energetic and everyone took part in it and really got in there.
I think it's more important because of the actual mental health, not like going on the telly, like the mental health part, because it's quite important. Like if you just ignore it, then a lot of bad things could happen.
I think it's really important in our school we do take it seriously. Our children are really young, but obviously we want to talk to them about feelings and to recognise the different feelings that they have.
Oxygen, are you ready? Yeah! Are you sure? Yeah!
Let's go! And turn! 2, 1, 2, 3, get out!
Great pleasure to present you with our official Chrissy B Show participative certificate.
Thank you very much.
Well done.
Welcome back to today's Chrissy B Show, everybody. So now we have some exclusive coverage from the National Mentoring Awards, where over 350 mentors and mentoring organisations covering all sectors of business, education, sport and society were recognised for their outstanding mentoring achievements in a red carpet awards ceremony in London. The National Mentoring Awards were created to honour the achievements of mentors and mentoring organisations who do so much to help change the lives of others. The awards were hosted by three-time BAFTA winner and the UK's top impressionist Rory Bremner and founder of the National Mentoring Awards, Chelsey Baker. The winners were each presented with a 24-carat gold-plated National Mentoring Award, and we are very proud to be able to showcase some of the amazing mentoring achievements next.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome here this evening. It's wonderful to be here. So many amazing mentors and mentoring organisations in the room. It's unbelievable. We really do have a fantastic evening in store for you tonight. My name is Chelsey Baker and I'm the founder of the National Mentoring Awards, and a big welcome to you all this evening.
Thank you. That's a wonderful welcome in the heart of Chelsea, from the heart of Chelsea. Isn't that wonderful? Thank you. 2 years of preparation. Well done. You've done a fantastic job. Thank you. Well done. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this, the most exciting event happening anywhere in the ballroom of the Jumeirah Carlton Hotel this evening. It's great to see so many people here as well. You know what? I don't think there's ever been so many people in this room before. Let me tell you. There's got to be 50,000 people in this room tonight. 50,000 people, wonderful, very beautiful people, mentoring people. Wonderful, very beautiful mentoring people. I'm sorry, I'm a bit jet lagged. I've been in Vietnam, I've been mentoring Kim Jong-un. So I'm Rory Bremner, and it's my privilege and pleasure to be the host of the first National Mentoring Awards. It's wonderful. We had a lot of awards tonight, but each of those awards represents somebody who's given their time, has given their experience, and passed that on to somebody else. It's a wonderful thing, mentoring. It's great for the person who's doing the mentoring. It's great for the person who is being mentored. It's all about encouraging, infusing, inspiring, and passing on your knowledge to the next generation, passing your knowledge to people who need a helping hand. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing, and we celebrated it tonight. I think we'd do it again. I think we have to do it again, right? Okay, we're doing it again.
My name is Chelsey Baker, and I'm the founder and the CEO of the National Mentoring Awards. I launched this initiative because there is so many amazing mentoring initiatives and programs out there, and they're not being recognised. We need to create real inspirational role models across every sector of business, education, sport and society. And tonight we marked a significant point in history where for the first time the United Kingdom honoured the top UK's mentor and mentoring initiatives in the country, and it's been an incredible evening. If you'd like to know more information, you can get involved at nationalmentoringawards.org. # the NM Awards.
So congratulations to all the nominees, finalists and winners of the National Mentoring Awards, and it's so great to see some much needed attention to the amazing mentoring initiatives out there, giving them the recognition they deserve. And actually I'd like to also say a massive congratulations to our business expert Chelsey Baker, who actually founded these awards in the first place and worked so hard to make it all happen. Well done, Chelsey. So now it's time to go to Dr. Audrey Tang, giving advice on dealing with stress in business or in adult education. Welcome to the show, Audrey.
Thanks for having me, Chrissy.
So first of all, what did you think of the mentoring awards there?
I loved it. It's so wonderful to see people who give up their time and energy to support others being rewarded and recognised. That's definitely so important. And it's so fulfilling for the mentors as well, because I've been a mentor through my different careers, and it's wonderful to see your mentees achieve. And that in itself is exciting. And part of being a mentor is you get to learn so much from the people you're mentoring. So it's a whole kind of learning environment, learning experience, and it's wonderful to see it recognised.
Yeah, it is lovely to see it recognised, but obviously sometimes when you're kind of mentoring or you're being mentored and you're trying to get ahead in business, you can actually get quite stressed. So what would your top tips be to deal with that, Audrey?
There's a few things to watch out for when you're mentoring. Mentoring is a fine balance between empowerment and support. And it's very easy because the mentor often knows the job very well, they know what's expected, to maybe give a little bit too much information because all he wants to do is help somebody. But that doesn't allow your mentee to actually grow into that position, to learn all of those various things. So it's very important to know how to strike that balance. The next thing is sometimes you may have a mentee who really doesn't suit that profession, really doesn't suit that job. And if you've chosen them personally because you saw something in them, it can be so heartbreaking to see them actually say, or pluck up the courage finally to say, it's not for me. And what you then can do is support them in finding the right field for them. And that's important too. And then sometimes you can end up in a very strange codependent relationship between mentor and mentee, when the mentor likes helping and the mentee likes being helped rather too much. And then that ends up being a little bit, less empowering and can be a little bit stilting. You sometimes don't grow very much because one person is just giving all the information, the other person's just taking it, and no one's actually doing something, taking initiative, going out there on their own. They're not being particularly brave, and that's part of any form of business or any form of new project. It's having the confidence and the bravery to go out and do it.
Okay. So now taking it, Audrey, from the angle of an adult going back into education, because we spoke about how parents can help their kids with stress with Sharon earlier. So what about when the adults want to go back and the stress that comes with that?
It's a very interesting area because at university I see a lot of mature students, and some of my most fulfilling teaching times was working in further education as well. What I noticed there was there are emotional issues that can come back and bite adult learners in that sometimes they may have given up education for a reason. That reason might be because they just didn't get on with the university or didn't get on with whoever was teaching them. And that fear of learning and that fear of failure in particular can actually stop someone and make them think, I'd rather give up than have a go. And so it's important as a tutor in that area to be a little bit mindful of that and be a bit kind and have your door open, but realise that a lot of adults don't always like to ask for help or don't always know to ask for help because they're very used to solving their problems on their own. Then as an adult, you have other issues that play on you as well, the practical issues. Do you need to commute to get into the place of study, and what happens to your children if that's the case? Is there financial support for you? Because if one of you is studying, one of you is working, then is that going to be problematic? And so it might end up being that you have to negotiate some time with your partner or with family or with somebody who can support you in order to be able to do that. And then it's studying at home as well. Is there time to do that if you're also working on your other priorities? There's a lot of things that go on. Within the classroom as well, something I always look out for is you do sometimes have mature students who fall into the role of parenting in the education setting because they're with people who are so much younger than them. But again, university or places of education, they are places to grow. And if you're falling back into that particular role and then the people that you're kind of parenting are also falling into the dependency role, no one grows there. So it's important to look out for that. But the biggest thing for me, I think, is that fear. But what's lovely is in the sector, they recognise adult learners, and two of my students were awarded, this is many years ago now, but their stories are so powerful. One of them was recognised because she managed to get it was a level 2 qualification, and she'd not been in education for about 20 years. She'd been raising an autistic son. This was her first time back in the college, and it was so scary for her, and she got through it, and she did really, really well. And another of my students had to give up a nursing degree because she had to care for her mother. And the university was very unsympathetic, sadly. And so she was so scared when she went back into the classroom that to get through it, because she said to me right at the beginning, I've been told I'll just never make a success of myself. And you just
That's an awful thing to say to someone. You should never say that.
Especially when she's going off to do something so important. And it was just wonderful to see her not only succeed in the cause that she took, but to see her recognised and rewarded. And she just felt, I will never let someone take that feeling away from me. I know I can do it. And so it's so wonderful to go back into education.
Such an inspiring note to leave that on. Thank you so much, my darling. And we'll see you again next week.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, everybody. So after the break, we'll be going to Hannah's kitchen for a healthy, yummy recipe, and Dr. Opix will be giving some medical advice on how to deal with stress. Hi, I'm Chrissy B, host of the UK's only TV programme dedicated to mental health and well-being, The Chrissy B Show, which airs on MyTV Sky 191 every Monday, Wednesday and Friday. Follow our social media on YouTube, Instagram and Twitter at Chrissy B Show, and our Facebook page, The Chrissy B Show. For more information, visit chrissybshow.tv. Welcome back to today's Chrissy B Show, everybody. And our main topic for today has been about stress and how to combat stress. And now we have on Dr. Rob Hicks, not answering your medical questions today, but actually addressing the issue of stress and what happens to us when we are under a bit of stress. Welcome to the show, Rob.
Thank you, Chris. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling very well because we had essential oils earlier, and now I'm feeling all like...
Very relaxed.
Well, kind of awake, I would say, which is really good.
It's a good start.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. So, Rob, can you tell us what actually happens to us when we feel stressed? What happens to us medically and physically?
I think the first thing to remember is that stress can be a good thing. We need a little bit of stress to perform well. So whether that's at work, if we have to do a presentation to colleagues, or if we're on the sports field, what we don't want is sort of lots of stress, particularly the constant stress, because that has very negative effects on the body. Yeah. So let's think about what happens. So when we get any sort of degree of stress, the brain triggers the release of stress hormones, so adrenaline, cortisol, and serotonin. And the effect that has on parts of the body is our heart rate increases. Yeah. Actually, as the blood is pumped faster around the body, blood pressure increases. Our breathing rate will increase as we take in more oxygen. And muscles are primed for action, because the stress response is known as the fight or flight response. So the muscles need that extra oxygen. They need the extra nutrients that comes from glucose that the blood is feeding to them. And actually that's why the muscles feel tense. They're ready, they're primed, ready to respond in the way that we want them to. Other parts of the body, like the digestive system, are actually suppressed to a degree because we don't really need that so much in this situation, which is why people may find that actually they want to go to the toilet. Yes. Because you get some spasms and the body wants to empty itself. It wants to lighten the load, ready to address whatever it is that's causing the stress.
Our bodies are very clever, aren't they?
It's fantastic. And that's why you may experience the symptoms of stress, sweating, heart palpitations, stomach butterflies, and a need, often repeated need, to go to the toilet. That's so if you're watching thinking, well, why do I feel like that? That's absolutely why.
So some stress obviously is normal for everybody, but in the case where there's too much stress, what actually can happen? What medical conditions can this lead to?
Yeah, well, I mean, long-term constant stress that we don't want can have a detrimental effect on the body. So, for example, headaches, very, very stress headaches. It can contribute to a greater risk of heart disease and heart attacks, not directly, but through the coping mechanisms that people may adopt to deal with stress. So drinking too much alcohol, eating comfort foods. The knock-on effect of comfort foods is too much alcohol is you put on weight. And the knock-on effect of that is that you're at greater risk of high blood pressure and diabetes. Wow. And the effect on the digestive system, people with IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, may find that they get worsening of their attacks. People may suffer indigestion. From an emotional point of view, you've got the impact it has on sleep. So sleep becomes harder, memory and concentration are worsened, and anxiety and depression are far more likely if you're under constant, relentless stress.
Okay, so what can the person do then if we have any viewers at home that are very stressed and they want to avoid getting ill? What advice would you give?
Well, this is the good news. The first thing is to try and identify what is the cause of your stress. And if you can identify it, then obviously avoid it as best you can. A lot of stresses we can't avoid. So this is where I like to recommend what I call instant distressors. So that they're different for all of us, but what they do is that they distract us from the stress and they put us in a better frame of mind to then deal with what's causing the stress. So for me, it's listening to music. It might be running on the spot. It might be having a cup of tea. It might be knitting. I also turn to a bit of knitting, just for 5-10 minutes. The other thing I do recommend is that every hour we take 5 minutes out to relax and unwind, and every day we do something for at least 30 minutes that we find enjoyable, because that can help manage our stress and keep it under control.
Okay. And in the case where it has actually already gotten out of control, so you haven't really been noticing it creeping up as such, and it does get out of hand, are there any sort of quicker treatments, things that you can do maybe alongside?
Yeah, there are alongside, and that's relaxation techniques, for example. So again, it's different for everybody, but mindfulness, visualization, deep breathing exercises, yoga, again, things like a cup of tea, looking at pictures of happy memories that you may have, for example. And that's why mobile phones are so useful, because we've got them now packed with photographs. And then, of course, there's formal things like counselling, psychotherapy. And for those with anxiety and depression, it might mean antidepressant medication or other medicines to deal with the symptoms that their stress is causing whilst they get on top of the stress. But the bottom line is, a little bit is good, a lot is bad. We can keep it under control. It's about recognising it and taking those steps, incorporating those steps into our daily life to actually get in control of the stress rather than let the stress control you.
Yeah, because I think people do know when it's starting to get out of hand, but unfortunately sometimes, I'm too busy, I can't stop, I have to get things done, and they don't stop to actually take care of themselves sometimes.
And if you do take stop, you'll find that you're more efficient and effective in doing all those things that you think are stopping you from dealing with the stress.
Yeah, that's right. Rob, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
And we shall see you again next time.
Yes, indeed.
Thank you. All right, everybody, so now it's time to go to Hannah Richards' kitchen, and she's going to be showing us a lovely, yummy recipe.
Hello, my name's Hannah, and today I'm going to show you how to make a really quick, yummy chicken pitta. So, all you need are some pittas. These are wholemeal. You can use white pitta, you could use wholemeal pitta, you could use gluten-free pitta, you can use any pitta you like. There's a whole load on the market. I think a better one to buy is a wholemeal because it's got a much more nutrition than white flour has, but you can start wherever you like. So, I'm gonna pop one in the toaster and get it a little bit golden. So what we're going to do is we're going to chop half an avocado, and we're going to use the avocado as an alternative to butter. Not because we don't like butter, we love butter, but I'm just going to try and give you some alternatives. And this is a nice smooth avocado, so it's going to break down and spread pretty quickly. I'm then going to use some cucumber because it's really good to have lots of different flavors and textures in any kind of sandwich. And a cucumber is really cool and refreshing. I've got my rocket leaves here, my good digestive leaves, a bit of watercress again, another digestive leaf. I'm going to tear them up together. And then I'm just going to coat them in a little bit of olive oil. Not too much, a splash. I'm going to give it a splash of balsamic vinegar as well. So just mix them up like that. Then we've got a spring onion here. Spring onions always bring a bit of life to any type of dish. And I'm just going to cut them again slightly on the diagonal and scatter them in my leaves. So once your pittas are popped, now the thing I always forget about pittas is that once you open them, the steam from them can really hit your fingers. So just be wary that they're very hot still, and just give them a little score down the middle so that heat can escape. Then break them in two. And we're gonna do a chicken one for those carnivores out there. And we're gonna do a vegan, vegetarian one for the non-carnivores. So, open up your pitta like that. We're gonna take our already spread avocado and pop it in. And then with a butter knife, just spread it down like that. So you do need to make sure that the avocado you've got is already ripe and soft. Then we're going to put some of our digestive watercress and rocket leaves in. We're going to stuff some cucumbers down the side. And then my favorite little sweetness, it's always good to add a little bit of sweetness to anything you're doing as well. And I'm gonna add some pineapple, because pineapple's got this really lovely digestive enzyme in it called bromelain. And so it's really good for your gut. So we're just going to put a couple of pieces of pineapple into the middle of our pitta there, just to give it a little bit of flavor. So there we've got one. I can do the same with the other one. And so if you are a meat eater, then you could use chicken, obviously you could use tuna in here. They all work really well. I'm going to use some, again, the avocado instead of the butter. You could just use some olive oil as well, or you could use some flavored oil. So we're going to put that in there. Put our cucumbers down the side. In the middle, put our digestive leaves. And then we're just going to thinly chop a few slices of chicken breast, which I've baked in the oven. Really simple and easy. No real flavor added to these, because you've got all the flavor from the balsamic, the avocado, and there you've got a really quick and easy lunch. Chicken and pineapple pittas and cucumber and avocado. Ready for anyone.
Thank you very much to Hannah there. So after the break, I'll be sharing my final thoughts of the day, and we also have on our beauty expert, Sani Soma, sharing some spring beauty tips.
It's important that you get the message across, because a lot of people are scared to say what they're scared of, but they shouldn't really be, and they should just be confident in asking for help.
It's not scary to talk to someone about how you feel, and that everybody should try and talk to someone when they need help.
Welcome back to today's Chrissy B Show, everybody. So now it's time to head over to beauty expert Sani Soma, sharing some spring beauty tips.
Hi, my name is Sani and I'm the resident beauty expert here at the Chrissy B Show. And since it's springtime and we're all kind of going a little bit lighter on the clothing, I thought it would be nice to go a little bit lighter with the makeup as well. So I'm going to talk to you about kind of what we call the no makeup look. Now I've kind of done it on myself today as well. I'm wearing a little tiny bit more probably than what a complete no makeup look would be, because I am on camera and the lights are really bright. But I'll talk you through what you would do essentially at home if you want to kind of just look fresh and put together and like ready for a beautiful spring day. So first thing is first is I love combo products. So SPF moisturizer and a light foundation together makes a BB cream. So what I find really fun with BB creams is a lot of them come out white. So as soon as I start blending it, it turns almost as if by magic into my kind of skin color. So this, for example, is for light to medium tones, and it kind of just starts blending in. And what BB creams do is they kind of blur the imperfections, covers a little bit, but it doesn't feel like you're wearing any makeup at all. You can skip your SPF, you can skip your moisturizer, and that way you're kind of like halfway down your face already. Now, personally, I do sometimes break out a little bit, so I do use a concealer just under my eyes, and if I have a little spot, I do kind of add that on top, but nothing major, and I tend to really buff it in. If you are doing anything delicate on your face, so under your eyes, or if you're like lightly covering a spot, use either your ring finger or your pinky, because they're kind of like the weakest fingers. Next one is blush. Now I do believe in blush always, because I kind of want to look wide awake, I guess. And a cream blush is perfect for the no makeup look. So what I tend to do when I'm putting it on my cheeks is I put the color on with my middle finger, and then I use these two fingers to blend the edges. And that way you get kind of a very natural flush that doesn't have any harsh edges. And a color for a no makeup look would be essentially if you pinch your cheeks a little bit. I'm not going to pinch myself now on screen, but whatever color it turns. And mine tends to go a little bit, this would be like a mauvey coral. So it's perfect for me. I'm wearing it today. Again, it's probably not going to show as much because of the lights, but we're kind of like trying to do a no makeup look under the lights. Next is cream highlighter. Now, cream highlighter is not only for the cheeks. So these are great because they come in a tube, and sure, you highlight the tops of your cheeks like this, but what you can also do is do kind of a quick little eyeshadow. So just take a little bit on your finger and wipe on your eyelid, and it makes it look more put together. And a natural eyelid actually is not matte. Eyelids have a little bit of oil in them, so it doesn't look like you're wearing anything, but it just gives that little bit of shimmer and a little tiny bit of color. Mascara is always important, even if you're doing a no makeup look, especially if you're blonde like me, because my lashes are almost invisible. I do a very quick coat of tubing mascara, and a tubing mascara means that it coats your lashes essentially like in a little tube, and when you're washing your face, they come out in warm water. You can almost like literally put your eyelashes between your fingers and slide the tubes off. So it's super easy to get them off, and you don't have to worry about if you're out in nature, if it rains, anything like that, nothing is gonna smudge because it requires warm water to get it off. Now, brows are really, really big. All this year they've been massive, but for a no makeup look, we are just going to use a brow gel. So this one does have a little bit of color on it. It has like a mascara wand, but all you do is you just brush it through the brows, and it grooms them, gives a little bit of color, but it won't look crazy. And to finish off a no makeup look is basically a no lipstick, more of a tinted balm. When I'm putting it here, you can see it gives the tiniest bit of color, nothing too much, something that looks natural and what your lips would naturally kind of be if you've, I don't know, eaten a few berries, I guess. So those are my tips for a no makeup look, for looking fresh in the spring, for looking like you didn't try too hard at all.
Thank you very much to Sani Sorma there, and actually to all my resident guests that I've had on today's program. And I hope that this show has helped you know how to deal with stress and help you to deal with things in a more productive way. So I'd like to home in a bit more on stress today, because of course we all get stressed at some point in our lives. You know, sometimes depending on the period of life, more stressed than other times. However, we do know that a bit of stress is good for us because it kind of helps us perform better. However, no amount of studying or an exam or anything like that is worth your health. It's not worth getting that stressed about your exams or about a business that you're running for it to start to kind of take a toll on you and actually take the joy out of life. That's so important. First of all, for parents, please don't make it like a massive deal for your kids to get the best grades and to do really well. I know obviously, you invest in your children and you want them to do well and you want them to get good grades so they can go maybe to university and get good jobs afterwards or start their own business. But it's really, really important that you don't overdo it, because actually your child can get so stressed that it actually affects them mentally as well. And unfortunately, we have heard stories of teenagers actually taking their own lives because they were so worried about getting good grades and passing their exams. They didn't want to be a failure. They didn't want to let their parents down. And it's such a serious thing. I mean, okay, I know it seems like such an important thing while kids are going through their exams and while young adults are going through their exams, but is it really worth losing a child over like getting great grades? Of course it's not. So I think as parents, we have to be very, very careful how much, to do with the pressure, not to put too much pressure. Of course, you're going to encourage your kids, you're going to help them to get the best out of them, but not, make them stressed out and thinking if I don't pass, mum and dad are going to be really angry with me and I'm never going to hear the end of it. The children shouldn't get to that stage. So yes, you instill the principles that it's important to do well. However, it's not the be-all and end-all of everything. If they fail an exam, they can always resit. It's not worth the health of your child over that. And now as an adult as well, the same applies. If you're finding that maybe at work it's getting too much for you, or maybe you have taken on too much yourself. Maybe you're involved in lots of different things outside of work as well. If you feel that it's getting too much, that you're starting to feel anxious, you're starting to feel tightness in your chest, or you're not being able to sleep well at night, you have to reevaluate things. You have to say, okay, what is it that's very important, that's the most important thing that I need to keep, or a few things that I need to keep doing, but what other things can I actually let go of? What can I maybe start to say no to? What can maybe wait for later, not right now because I've got too much on? Again, all these things that you're trying to achieve are not worth your well-being and your health over. Sometimes actually doing one or two things really well is much better than trying to take on loads of things and then not doing anything well and then making yourself sick. And actually, we've had guests on this program that have spoken about already feeling that they were seeing the signs of when it was becoming a bit too much, but they didn't listen. They didn't kind of do anything about those things. And then they ended up getting really sick in hospital and they were actually forced to stop. And the thing is, I had to stop everything. So, if you don't take care of yourself and your body's actually going to just shut down and say no anyway. So before it gets to that stage, when you start seeing the signs, already do something about it. It might not necessarily mean that you have to stop or let go of certain things. It might just be a case of, well, actually I have to reevaluate the way I organize myself, for example. But if you do all of that and you see that you have got too much, definitely it's time to do something about it. Well, everyone, we have reached the end of today's program, but if you have a story that you would like to share, please do get in touch with us on info@chrissybshow.tv. You can also tweet or Instagram us @ChrissyBShow, or leave a message on our Facebook page, The Chrissy B Show. And if you'd like to know more about my mental health journey, please do visit my personal website, which is mylifeafterdepression.com. Till next time, goodbye for now.